If there's one thing that separates men who naturally draw women in from those who struggle endlessly, it's this: they understand what not to do. Most advice tells men what they should do: be more confident, impress her, keep her interested. And while those things do matter, they're not the whole story. What's often more important are the mistakes you must avoid. Because attraction isn't just about making the right moves. It's about not making the wrong ones. And here's where most men go wrong. They think that if they just try harder, if they're extra nice, if they give more, if they go out of their way to please her, she'll eventually see their worth. But the harsh truth: some behaviors don't just weaken attraction, they erase it completely. The worst part? Most men don't even realize they're sabotaging themselves. They rack their brains trying to understand why she lost interest, why she pulled away, why she suddenly seems distant. By the time they figure it out, it's already too late. I've seen this happen time and time again. I've been there myself. And if there's one lesson Stoicism teaches us about relationships, it's this: you must control what is within your power and let go of what is not. Chasing, overgiving, and seeking validation. These are traps that lead to frustration, not connection. So today, we're cutting through the noise. No gimmicks, no tricks, just 5 things you must avoid if you want a woman to respect you, desire you, and feel genuinely drawn to you. Get this right, and everything changes. Let's begin. Thing 1. Never seek validation from her. Seeking validation is one of the biggest killers of attraction, yet most men don't even realize they're doing it. It comes in many subtle forms, constantly asking, "Do you still like me? Are you mad at me?" Over-explaining yourself, "I just wanted to make sure you didn't misunderstand me." Asking for permission to be yourself. "Is it okay if I say this?" Fishing for compliments. "Do you think I'm funny? Do you find me attractive?" At its core, validation seeking comes from insecurity. It's handing over your sense of worth to her, instead of standing firm in who you are. And here's the truth: women don't want to be your emotional caretaker. The moment she feels like it's her job to make you feel good about yourself, attraction starts to die. A woman desires a man who already knows his own worth, not someone who's waiting for her approval to feel like he's enough. Imagine this: would you respect a man who needs constant reassurance just to feel valuable? Of course not. And neither will she. So how do you stop seeking validation? 1. Detach from her reaction. When you say something funny, don't glance at her to see if she laughed. When you make a decision, don't second-guess it based on her opinion. Stand firm. A Stoic man controls what he can, his own actions, and lets go of what he can't. Her response. 2. Give validation. Don't seek it. Flip the script. Instead of craving her approval, observe her. Challenge her. Compliment her in a way that shows you see her depth, not just her beauty. This shifts the power dynamic. You become the one evaluating, not the one hoping to be evaluated favorably. 3. Confidence is key. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's security in yourself, whether she approves or not. A man who knows his worth doesn't need validation because he already has it from within. That kind of energy, it commands respect. And respect is the foundation of attraction. At the end of the day, attraction isn't about chasing approval. It's about being solid in who you are. A man who stands firm in his own value will always be more attractive than a man who begs to be validated. So, stop waiting for permission to be enough. You already are. Thing 2. Never put her on a pedestal. A lot of men hold on to a dangerous belief, the idea that if they treat a woman like a queen, she'll treat them like a king. But reality doesn't work that way. The more you put a woman on a pedestal, the more she looks down on you. Most men don't realize this, but attraction isn't built through worship. It's built through respect. And a woman cannot respect you if you act like she's above you. This doesn't mean you should treat her badly or dismiss her worth. It simply means you should treat her as an equal, not as some untouchable goddess. Here's the hard truth. She doesn't want to be worshipped. She wants to be challenged. She wants to be intrigued. She wants to be with a man who stands beside her, not beneath her. So how do you stop putting her on a pedestal? First, stop over-complimenting. If you constantly tell her how amazing she is, she'll stop believing it, or worse, she'll take it for granted. Compliments are most powerful when they're earned and genuine, not handed out like candy. 2. Build your own life. A man who places a woman on a pedestal usually does so because he has nothing else going for him. He makes her the center of his world instead of building a meaningful life of his own. Don't be that guy. Have goals. Pursue your purpose. Be a man of substance, and you won't feel the need to elevate anyone above yourself. 3. Set boundaries and call her out. If she does something disrespectful, say something. If she acts entitled, don't tolerate it. A woman respects a man who knows his worth and isn't afraid to enforce his boundaries. Respect isn't given, it's earned. And the moment she senses that you're afraid to stand up for yourself, she'll lose interest. A woman doesn't fall for a man because he worships her. She falls for him because she feels something real when she's around him. And real attraction, it doesn't exist in fantasy. So stop idealizing her. See her for who she truly is, flaws and all. Because a man who stands firm in his own value will always be more attractive than a man who begs for hers. That's the kind of man she actually wants. 3. Never let her control the relationship. A woman will test you, not because she's manipulative, not because she's cruel, but because she needs to know who you really are. She will test your patience, your confidence, and your ability to hold your ground. And if you fail, she will lose respect for you. The worst thing you can do as a man is let a woman dictate the direction of the relationship. It happens subtly. You start agreeing with everything she says just to avoid conflict. You let her make all the decisions because you're afraid of upsetting her. You apologize constantly, even when you've done nothing wrong. At first, it might seem like the right thing to do, keeping the peace, making her happy. But over time, something shifts. She stops respecting you. She resents you, even if she doesn't say it out loud. Because deep down, a woman doesn't want to lead. She wants to trust that you can. This doesn't mean being controlling. It means having direction. A man who knows where he's going, who makes decisions with confidence, and who isn't afraid to stand firm in his beliefs, that's a man a woman can trust. The truth is, leadership in a relationship isn't about dominance, it's about stability. A woman wants to feel safe with you, to know that when life throws challenges your way, you won't crumble under pressure. But if you constantly hand her the wheel, if you expect her to drive the relationship while you sit back passively, she will lose respect for you. So don't be afraid to make decisions. Don't be afraid to say no when necessary. Don't be afraid to stand firm in your values, because a woman doesn't want to feel like she's dating a man who follows. She wants a man who knows his path and walks it with confidence. That's what earns her trust. And ultimately, that's what keeps attraction alive. 4. Never be afraid to walk away. There's nothing that kills attraction faster than a man who's terrified of losing a woman. The moment a man starts fearing the loss, he stops being himself. He compromises his values, tolerates disrespect, and puts up with situations that drain his energy, all in the desperate hope of keeping her around. But here's the paradox. The man who is least afraid to lose a woman is often the one who keeps her the longest. Why? Because she knows he's not staying out of neediness. He's staying because he chooses to. And that choice, free of desperation, commands respect. And respect, my friend, is the foundation of all attraction. But the moment you start fearing her absence, you become too agreeable. You stop setting boundaries. You allow things to slide that should never be tolerated. You accept disrespect, all in the name of not rocking the boat. And by doing so, you show her something dangerous, that your self-worth is dependent on her presence. Women don't want to be the reason you exist. They don't want to feel like they're holding you together. They want to know that you would be perfectly fine with or without them. That's what makes a man attractive, the ability to stand strong regardless of who is in his life. The power of walking away. Walking away isn't a game. It's not some manipulation tactic to make her chase you. It's a statement of self-respect. When a man walks away, he's saying, I have standards, I have boundaries, and if they aren't met, I'm out. And here's where it gets interesting. This kind of man is rare. Most men will bend over backward, tolerate nonsense, and sacrifice their dignity just to keep a woman around. But the man who is willing to walk away, that's the man who instantly becomes more attractive because he's signaling one undeniable truth. He has options, and a man with options is a man who naturally commands respect. Women are wired to be drawn to men who value themselves. If you can't walk away from a bad situation, you're communicating three things. You don't believe you can do better. You're emotionally dependent on her. You will tolerate anything just to keep her around. None of these make you more desirable. In fact, they do the opposite. When to walk away. So, when is it time to leave? When should you stand up and say, this isn't for me? 1. When she disrespects you. Disrespect comes in many forms: mocking your ambitions, dismissing your opinions, constantly testing your patience. The moment you let it slide, you're teaching her that it's acceptable. And if she can get away with it once, she'll do it again. A man who respects himself doesn't tolerate disrespect. He addresses it, and if it continues, he walks. 2. When she plays mind games. If she's constantly hot and cold, if she strings you along, if she enjoys making you uncertain about where you stand, leave. These are power plays, not love. A woman who truly values you won't need to test you. She'll show you. 3. When she's no longer interested. If she's pulling away, treating you like an option or making minimal effort, match her energy. Leave. Never beg for attention. If she cares, she'll notice your absence. If she doesn't, you have your answer. How to walk away with strength. 1. Don't announce it. Just do it. Weak men make scenes, say things like, "You'll regret this," or try to guilt trip her. Strong men simply disappear. They don't waste energy trying to explain their worth. They just leave and let their absence speak for itself. 2. Make it about you, not her. Walking away isn't about punishing her. It's not about making her feel bad. It's about recognizing that a situation isn't serving you and choosing to remove yourself. This shift in mindset is crucial. 3. Never look back. One of the biggest mistakes men make is walking away, only to check in later, texting her, hoping she'll come back. If you walk for good. You don't give her the satisfaction of knowing she still has access to you. The final truth. A man who can walk away is a man who values his own self-respect over temporary comfort. And that, more than charm, more than good looks, more than wealth, is what makes a man truly irreplaceable. Be that man. Thing 5. Never be inconsistent with who you are. Women are drawn to certainty, not the kind that comes from arrogance or false bravado, but the kind that comes from a man who knows himself, who doesn't waver, shift, or mold himself to fit someone else's expectations. A man who is inconsistent, who says one thing but does another, who changes depending on who he's with, who adjusts his personality like a chameleon, will always lose a woman's respect. Deep down, she's looking for something solid, a foundation that doesn't crack under pressure, a presence that doesn't dissolve when challenged. The truth is, most men fail this test without even realizing it. They think they're being adaptable, that they're just reading the room. They change their humor, their values, and their opinions, all to avoid conflict, all to be liked. But what they don't see is that every time they shift to please someone else, they lose a little bit of their authenticity. And that is the fastest way to kill attraction. Women seek stability in a partner, not just financial stability or social status, but something far deeper, emotional and psychological stability. The importance of being consistent. Throughout history, a woman's survival often depended on choosing a man she could trust, a man who would stand firm in danger, who wouldn't crack under stress, who wouldn't say one thing and do another. So when a man is inconsistent, when his moods shift unpredictably, when his words don't match his actions, when he acts one way in public but differently in private, her instincts tell her he is unsafe. She may not even consciously realize it, but she'll start pulling away. She'll test him more. She'll feel less drawn to him, not because he's a bad guy, but because he isn't solid. How inconsistency kills attraction. 1. It makes her question who you really are. If you're always changing, she can never trust that what you're showing her is the real you. She'll start doubting your words, second-guessing your intentions, and ultimately losing interest. 2. It signals weakness, not adaptability. A strong man can adapt to different situations without losing himself. He can be fun at a party, serious in a meeting, and comforting to a friend, all while remaining the same person at his core. But a man who completely changes, depending on his environment, looks weak, like someone who needs external approval to function. 3. It makes her feel unsafe. If today you say you love deep conversations, but tomorrow you act like you don't care about anything serious, if one moment you talk about commitment and the next you avoid the topic, if you act confident around your friends but insecure when you're alone with her, she won't know which version of you to trust. And a woman who doesn't trust you can never truly desire you. The power of being unshakable. The most attractive men in history, the ones who left a lasting impression, were the ones who never bent to fit the world around them. Think of Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, a philosopher, a leader. Despite all the chaos around him, he remained firm in his principles, never shifting based on public opinion. Or Bruce Lee, he adapted in battle. Yes, but at his core, he remained true to his philosophy, his discipline, his essence. Even today, the most magnetic men are the ones who stand their ground, not in an aggressive, stubborn way, but in a way that says, "This is who I am. I will evolve, I will grow, but I will never betray myself." And that is rare. That is powerful. How to stop being inconsistent. 1. Define your values and stick to them. If you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for anything. Take time to clarify what matters to you, and once you do, don't abandon those values just because a situation gets uncomfortable. 2. Be the same man in all situations. Whether you're with your boss, your best friend, or a woman you're attracted to, be the same person. Adjust your approach when needed, but never adjust your character. 3. Match your words with your actions. If you say you'll do something, do it. If you claim to have a certain mindset, live by it. The moment your actions and words don't align, you lose credibility, and attraction dies. A man who remains true to himself, no matter the situation, is a man who commands respect, admiration, and desire. Be that man. True attraction isn't just about what you do, it's about what you refuse to accept. A man who constantly seeks approval, puts a woman above himself, lets her dictate the relationship, fears walking away, or wavers in his identity, loses respect. And when respect is gone, so is power. Without power, attraction fades. But a man who knows his worth, who leads with quiet confidence, who stands firm in his values, that's the man she remembers. That's the man she respects. That's the man she desires. Because in a world where most men bend, break, and beg for validation, a man who stands unshaken is rare. You see, respect isn't something you demand. It's something you earn by the way you carry yourself. Women don't admire weakness disguised as kindness, nor do they fall for men who make them the center of their world at the cost of their own self-respect. So ask yourself, are you the kind of man who commands respect effortlessly, or are you just another man waiting for approval? The choice is yours. If this message resonates with you, hit subscribe for more insights. Stay strong, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.